You are listening to Beyond the Verse, a StarCitizen podcast. A show dedicated to Cloud Imperium games, StarCitizen, and Squadron 42. Whether you fight, explore, unite, and/or trade, we bring you news, updates, interviews, reviews, and analysis. So sit back, relax, grab yourself a pour of Radagast, and join us as we go Beyond the Verse.
Launch sequence activated.
Hello, friends, and welcome to Beyond the Verse, a StarCitizen podcast. I'm your host, Sulyce, and this is episode 123. We dive into the Day of the Vara 2955 Halloween event and its community contests, including a pumpkin decorating and horror story contest. We count down to CitizenCon Direct 2955, reveal details about our Sabre with the Black Magic paint giveaway, and break down the September monthly report for StarCitizen. We're going to also recap the last week's episode. We're going to cover highlights from your emails and from your comments at the very end of the show. So stick around. I actually need to get back to some emails that we've skipped over for the last couple of weeks. So we're gonna cover a few of those. So I'm excited to get into it. Guys, happy Q4 of 2025 or 2955 for all of us nerds out there. It is my favorite time of year. I am stoked. My heart is full. My heart is happy. This is my favorite season. So we've got Halloween into Thanksgiving into the December holidays. For us, it's Christmas. All birthdays. I have my entire family is having their birthdays between now and April of next year. Every month there's a birthday. I can't express just the season change. Now, I will say this, in Texas, it's still 95 and it will be 95 going through Halloween. So the weather doesn't really change for me per se, but it is fun to go to our local Hobby Lobby, Lowe's, and see that entire store decked out in Halloween decorations. I took my kids last weekend to Home Depot and we got to see the 20-foot tall skeletons and the graveyards to put in your front yard. And of course, that is, it's always fun as a parent to live vicariously through your kids. And so again, I am stoked. Favorite time of the year, but also in StarCitizen. We have the Day of the Vara we're going to get through in this episode, but that goes straight into the Pax Humana. It goes into Citizen Day and then Pax Humana. And then it goes into IAE, which is hands down, other than Invictus Launch Week, it is hands down the biggest event in StarCitizen. Of course, we have CitizenCon Direct. We'll get into that here in a couple of seconds. Next weekend, literally 8 days away from the recording of this podcast. And then we have Luminalia in December, which will be giving away a lot of items, whether you're in sole provision or you are a listener or watcher of this podcast. There is a lot happening in the next 3 months. So again, I hope this finds everybody well. However you're listening to this week's episode, I've been getting a lot of really awesome DMs outside of the Spotify comments and outside of the emails, just general sentiment that the show is doing well. You guys are engaged. You listen to it on Mondays over the weekend when things get drab, and we're bringing you the news of your favorite game and your favorite project. And I'm glad to be able to do that. I'm blessed and honored that you welcome me into your life, your experience, whatever you're going through. On that note, let's just stay close to that. I did not do this in the month of August to recap, in the month of September to recap the August month. So here we are in October. I'm going to recap our September month. Wow, that is really confusing. So September in Beyond the Verse podcast, or on the Beyond the Verse podcast. So going and celebrating you, the viewer, the listener, those of you inside of Sole Provision. Here we go. In the podcast, we have over 1.2K followers listening to the podcast. Lifetime to date, creation to date, 78.1 plays, 765 plays per episode, over 88 countries, and across 6 different podcast platforms. And that 6th platform is other, so it could be more. I have no idea from the level of analysis that Spotify gives me. Over on YouTube, we surpassed 1,200 subscribers, 1.2 million impressions, 66.2K views, 6.8K watch hours, and across 26 countries. Over on X, which is our main social media platform, 3,274 followers. In the month of September alone, we had 178K impressions, 8.1% engagement rate, 3.6K likes, 0.3K replies, 0.4K reposts. Guys, I obsess over data. If this is your very first episode, you don't know that, obviously. But if this is your 123rd episode with me, you know this is where I live. I love me some data. Blue Sky still sucks when it comes to business analytics, so I have no freaking clue other than 545 followers. And then I guess most importantly, like if we're being really honest with ourselves, what really matters is like us giving money to children that are in need. So our philanthropy for 2025 is Extra Life. I'll say something at the end of the episode to remind you, but we have raised so far $1,480 to children's hospitals around the United States that pays for operations, medicine, for the kids in need, right? Like I have obviously a soft spot for that. We set a goal for $5,000 in the year. We're going to get like, we're probably not going to make it, and that's fine. That's fine. We still have a quarter left. There could be a miracle, but we got some work to do if we're going to be pushing the 5,000, because right now we're at 30% to goal. Across every single endeavor in Extra Life, right? This is a massive gaming community philanthropy. We are ranked 209. There was a time like the first half of the year, we were in the 40s and 50s. And then, of course, we kind of die down as the year goes. And that's fine. If we stop today, we have done well to raise $1,400. Then, of course, I just want to celebrate the special guests you can see on your screen. These are the individuals that have given up their time to become my friend and be on the podcast. We will more than likely have the Astropub on right before CitizenCon Direct. I think I'm going to be guesting on his podcast a few times. I don't know. We're still working out the logistics there. But again, I have always valued sharing that information with you because, yes, it's my podcast. Yes, it's my organization. But guys, like this is about you and you backing our efforts. And so I think those numbers are also important to you. While we stay kind of in this theme of community and Beyond the Verse and Soul Provision, let's actually get into the giveaway details. Like right now, CIG has given us a Sabre with lifetime insurance, along with this Halloween's Black Magic paint. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen yet again. You guys are going to want to go to beyondtheversehq.com. And there's multiple ways to get to this. We have an announcement bar at the very top. They can simply just click there and it'll take you to our supply crate. That's my clever name for the landing page. You can go over here to podcast at the drop down box and click on giveaway. You could do beyondtheversehq.com/giveaway. I don't care how you get there, just get there. So for this exercise, we're going to click on the announcement bar and here you go. All the details you'll need. The engagement question you're going to have to answer at the very end of this is which star citizenship would make the best haunted house and why? I think there's a clear winner. I don't want to skew your answer, but I'm pretty sure there's a very, very obvious answer. But you have between now and next Thursday, October 9th, to get your entry in. And then on that podcast episode, that next Friday, that's October 10th, I will read out the winner like I always do. But just come in here, answer all the questions, click enter giveaway. As of right now, this very moment, we have 92 entries. So right now your chances are high, but usually it gets to 150, 200 by the time the event ends. Make sure you get into it. All right. I warned you. All right, this week in Star Citizen, I'm going to read the little paragraph like I always do, and then the bullet points are very scarce, so I might not even do that. But here we go. Ghastly greetings, galactic ghouls. We've got chills, and they're multiplying. Nice play on the song. Spooky season is creeping into the verse, and a month brimming with mischief awaits. From in-game challenges to fiendish contests that test your creativity to tricks and treats along the way, get ready for a frightfully fun time as we kick off our Day of the Vara festivities this October. But before, wow, my mouth just did something crazy. That's fine. But before you dive headfirst into the Spooktober shenanigans, a quick spell to keep things running smoothly. Scheduled maintenance is lurking around the corner. A maintenance window is planned for Tuesday. We're trying a new approach to reduce disruption. Instead of a full downtime, there will be a brief partial outage for 3 different services. Most platform features will remain available during this window. This method lets us perform updates and validations while keeping disruption to a minimum. Thanks for your patience while we work to keep everything running wickedly well. All right, this week, obviously Tuesday we had the maintenance window we just discussed. Wednesday was the drop of both the PU monthly report and the Day of the Vara festivities. So we'll get into both of those in depth here in the next couple of seconds. So fantastic. Trying to think if there's anything else I want to talk about that. I guess the scheduled downtime, I can't speak to any of it. It happens when I'm at work. So, or getting ready and then going to work. So I can't speak to what that experience was like for anybody that attempted to play or maybe was watching it so they could play. Don't know. But hey, I am perfectly fine if CIG wants to do maintenance during the workday. I selfishly doesn't impact me at all. Okay, before we get into the Day of the Vara, I do want to get into the countdown to CitizenCon Direct 2955. All right, sharing my screen. Guys, we are 8 days away. I cannot express how excited I am to be facilitating next Saturday with the Astropub and with the Texas Bar Citizens kind of hosting. I've appreciated all their help up to this point. A lot of preparation has been underway. There are a lot of giveaways. So if you're going to be there at the Austin, Texas location, there's like over 15 ships. We have 3D models to be giving away. We got a gaming chair. We got VKB sticks. It's going to be a very engaging, a very energetic CitizenCon Direct. And it's not just the 2 hours that we're going to like come together and watch. It is a 12 to 10, right? 12 p.m. to 10 p.m. It's going to be about 10 hours worth of y'all hearing from me, which that's going to be not good news for anybody. So, okay, to the article. Hey, everyone. CitizenCon Direct 2955 is less than 2 weeks away, and the countdown is officially on. Watch parties. Yep, there's going to be on Twitch and YouTube. Information there. Perfect. Digital goodies pack. Pick up this year's collection of 13 endgame wearables, weapons, decor, and collectibles. Includes 2 new armor sets, an exclusive flight suit, a bundle of new weapons, and more, all alongside the classics like our CitizenCon Challenge coin and trophy to add to your collection. The full list of digital goodies will be unveiled at the CitizenCon Direct 2955, with all items being delivered in upcoming patches. When I read with all items being delivered in upcoming patches, and not like 432, we probably won't get everything on the CitizenCon Direct day. It'll probably be like spread out, scattered between now and the end of the year, in my opinion. Discounted CitizenCon starter pack packages. Let's just go ahead and click this and open this up. So CitizenCon, here's your landing page for the Direct. I'm going to let these images load because I'm pretty sure. Yep, here they are. They just threw in this Duelist CitizenCon starter pack, right? So for $56.25, you can get an Avenger Titan with the Ironweave paint. You're going to get 6 gear items, which is all of the Arden SL Archangel gear. Good God. Only 24-month insurance, so you've got to kind of weigh that. If it's your starter ship, you don't necessarily need to have lifetime insurance, just know that there will be lifetime insured packs in the future. So just, I don't know, you do what you will with that information. You're going to start with an irrelevant 20,000 UEC. That number has to change between now and whenever the game launches, because that's really nothing. That's like, I don't know, a handful of items when you first get started. And then, of course, you're going to have this StarCitizen digital download. So I don't know. It was originally $75. It's 25% off. So it's around $56, $57. You have to decide for yourself whether or not it's worth that. I think there's better starter packs, but just know that this is a limited time CitizenCon Direct version. Cool. There's a video contest, but it is now closed. So I don't know how relevant that is for me to say, but submissions are now closed and our team is reviewing the entries you've sent in. We want to extend a heartfelt thank you to everyone who participated, yada, yada, yada. Rebroadcasting the show, of course. I don't even know why they mentioned that. That's the whole point of them doing it virtually. So yes, it is fine to do rebroadcast on Twitch and YouTube. And then make sure anything that you create, you're hashtagging CitizenCon, so that way CIG can repost and signal your efforts and your creations. So again, guys, I can't wait. I don't want to keep on like there's stuff I just can't tell you that we're planning for and that we're going to be surprising everybody with. Yeah, I guess I have to leave it there. Just know that there's giveaways. Know that there is some drops. We can't wait to see those from CIG. It's going to be a huge crowd of CIG developers and individuals. So I'm really excited to see them. It's going to be a lot of fun here in Austin. So, all right, let's get going. Halloween while I clear my throat. Man, okay, here we go. Halloween, Day of the Vara. Maybe not my favorite in-game event, but my favorite time of the year. I can get behind this. Let's go. The woman in green and black, as Captain Heptane steered the Vara and its crew through the isolated Hades system, an expanse devoid of life. She had no idea what darkness was waiting to claim them, and we still don't know today. So on this Day of the Vara, we pay homage to the lost and hope to guide them home by lighting candles, sharing stories, and wearing costumes of the fallen. Ignore these traditions at your peril, lest the dead take you with them on their return to the ever after. So there is lore that is behind the Day of the Vara. Kind of just read a little snippet of it. But just like, I don't know, other in real life holidays around this time of the year, not until I get specific and name them. It's just kind of celebrating life. It's celebrating the death of loved ones. This one just so happens to be centered around an actual event that happened in the Hades system. All right, Hellish Hues. We got new paints this year. This is called the Black Magic paints. It's like a black base with like a copper or orange highlight or secondary paint. It looks amazing. I bought the pack. I, of course, threw it on my Polaris immediately. I think it's a phenomenal combination. It's a step away from kind of the splash of green vomit. I think it's called the ghoulish green or something. And we'll look at it here in a second. I forgot what it's called. But I think the Halloween colors in the past have been a little too loud for me. But this, shocking, it's dark colors and it's black and something else. It's no surprise to anybody, but I think this is sick. I think this looks really good. It's very Halloween-esque. I love the orange highlights. I think they did a phenomenal job. So, quote, shroud yourself in the colors of the season with the new macabre. Why am I looking at this word? Whatever. Black Magic paint for the Polaris in the Guardian and Sabre series, so you can pass through those galactic graveyards unharmed. If black and orange aren't your colors, have no fear. The eye-popping purple haze, that's what it is. The eye-popping purple haze and ghastly ghoulish green paints return from the dead. I don't know. I don't know if it's because I record at 5:30 a.m. in the morning, but like I look at a word and I know the word. It's like it's in my head, it's registering, but like when it comes out of my mouth, who knows what the hell I just said? No idea. All right, there is a pumpkin decorating contest. We're actually going to go into the Spectrum post and go through the details here in a second, but y'all in the community are freaking creative. I wish I was half this creative. But like the penguin, they did the freaking penguin in pumpkins. That's incredible. But just the ability to like etch this stuff into the pumpkins, like I can't even carve like a smiley face out of a pumpkin. Arena Commander has the Kill Collector. It's back. Guys, up to this point, I don't know if they might have hot fixed it. They might have patched it. But I was hearing that everybody but the winner was getting the coins for a while. So like if you got in early, it was pretty easy to get your coins. That's what I read. I can't confirm it. But the Kill Collector is pretty typical. Let's read the article. Sticks and stones may break your bones, but Arena Commander could kill you. Yes, I die many times in Arena Commander. Take on the Deadly Deluge in FPS Kill Collector mode and prove yourself a warrior inside and out. Make it out alive to unlock classic Halloween masks. Learn more over on Spectrum. So I think I said coins. It's actually the masks, the Halloween masks that you can get as well. But I thought it was also a coin. Did I just make that up? We'll get into the actual Spectrum article here in a second. Cool. Writing contest. Dead men tell short tales. What is the terrible truth behind the Vara's sudden vanishing? Some believe we'll never know. Some are afraid to find out. Now it's your turn to share your theories and campfire fables. Submit a short story from the perspective of the crew, the captain, or the ship herself. Petrifying prizes. Go to the most chilling reads. All right, here are the packs. So if you want to spend money, here we go. There's a starter pack. So we just discussed starter packs from CitizenCon Direct. Here's more starter packs for you that are now available. This looks like the cutter. Yeah, that is the cutter. The Generalist Super Spooky Starter Pack for $48. The Outsider Super Spooky Starter Pack for $68. And then if you have like a crap load of money, here's a Black Magic Ship Pack for $1,200. A Purple Haze Ship Pack for $1,100. The Ghoulish Green Ship Pack for $1,100. And the reason why these are so expensive, guys, is because it's the ship with the paints, the Halloween paints that are with it. So of course the Black Magic Ship paint or pack has the Polaris in it because one of the paints is the Polaris. That's like a $900 to $1,000 ship itself. So yeah, that's why they are so expensive. But if you didn't have, I don't know, over $1,000 to spend and you just want the paints, here we go. So the Black Magic 3 paint pack is $35, $36. But you will have the Sabre Black Magic, the Polaris Black Magic, and then you'll have the Guardian Black Magic. And the Guardian looks sick with the black and orange. It looks really, really good. So I also like, excuse me, I also like how it changes the cockpit glass to like that amber copper color. I love when paints change the glass color, right? I still think the 2953, 52, 53, whatever the black and red was, like the red alert paints, like I love what it did to the Carrack. So it changed the blast shield, or it changed the cockpit glass to that red. Looked amazing. All right, so there's the black and orange. Here is the green vomit that I was talking about. So it's a purple base with green splash. It's fine. It's very loud. Yeah, so you can get the Sulin, the Zeus, the Terrapin, and the Carrack. Again, it does change the glass, so like I'll take it. I don't know. Even the purple's a nice purple. It's just the green. I don't know, can't get over it. All right, we also have a gruesome gear pack. So the Day of the Vara Parasite pack. Now, it's in the subscriber store, yes. But like I already have the Parasite poster. So I didn't really feel the need to get everything else. I feel like it's a little bit of wasted money. It's fine. So I don't know. If you don't have any of these items, take it. Like it's a pretty cool pack. And then you've got these massive guys. Oh my God, this is so funny. So the Fieldsbury Dark Bear Sinister 6-pack, it's 6 massive bear helmets. It's crazy. Like the eyes actually do light up and those balls move around, like the red balls that you see on the screen right now. So we had org night last night and we had a few individuals wear this in their cockpits, and it was hilarious to see them because you would see this tiny little body sitting in the chair, and then the rest of the cockpit was filled with this massive, like the bear head, right? Hilarious, absolutely hilarious. And actually, we also gave this away last night. So sometimes, rarely, but sometimes during org nights, I'll take a pack that had just, launched, and I'll give it away. We'll do like a roll during org night. And so I did give away the 6-pack, and I also gave away the new Black Magic paints. So that was fun. That was really cool for everybody. But that bear head it's ridiculous. So there you go. Let's just keep going straight into the Spectrum post. This is the Spectrum version of all of the masks and stuff. Again, if you didn't want to go through the aesthetics of a landing page, the Spectrum is always nice because it's just the data. It's just the facts. You read through it, move on. And there's, of course, links that kind of link you to the important piece of information. So if you're interested about the pumpkin decorating contest, obviously click here. That opens up the page, which is exactly what we're going to do now. So here we go. All right, decorating contest. Let's see here. What do I want to do? Do I want to tell you? Let's do dates. So between now until Monday, November 3rd. So we have plenty of time, an entire month, because recording this is October 3rd. We have an entire month to get through this. So prizes. In first place, it's going to be the Mirai Guardian with Black Magic paint. In second place, the Sabre with the Black Magic paint. And then in third place, the Sulyce with the Purple Haze paint. Of course, all with lifetime insurance. What is this? The Substi goal of the season award? What is this? What is the Substi goal? I don't see anything in here about that. Oh, here we go. No pumpkin in sight. Don't lose your head. We welcome squashes, gourds, and even potatoes to join the fun. We'll even have a prize for the best not a pumpkin entry to creep into the contest. One daring pumpkin imposter will haunt its way to the Substagool, sure, of the season award. And that's going to be the Guardian. I guess another Guardian with Black Magic paint. Sorry, I had a moment there where I don't know what the hell I was looking at. So cool. If you don't have a pumpkin, guys, go to your local grocery store, and they have pumpkins all over the place. I don't know why you wouldn't be able to find one unless you just didn't want to spend the money and then have at it. I personally, again, I'm not this creative. I'm not. I can do digital stuff all day long. I love Photoshop. I love kind of getting into that piece. I can draw, right? I'm really good at drawing. But when I get into carving like a 3-dimensional object, that's all you. I know my limits. All right. The horror story contest. This is fun, especially for somebody like myself who loves lore. I cannot wait to hear and read some of the entries. I know some individuals from Soul Provision are going to enter and participate in this. So I'm really excited to read all of it. I kind of want to read through the quick little blurb here about the lore. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and do that. So here we go. The Day of the Vara. The holiday first originated around 27 October 2557. After the disappearance of the Vara, an exploration vessel orbiting the second planet in the then recently discovered Hades system. Communications. 1 second, guys. Man, dying over here. All right. Communications from the Vara to the Raider system stopped early in the morning after Captain... Why can't it just be like Jim Bob? Why can't the names be normal, CIG? After Captain Tisiphone Heptane, cool, sent her initial impressions of the ruined alien cities. Systems on board ceased transmitting ship status reports a few hours later. Though search and rescue teams were dispatched the next day, the Vara and her crew were nowhere to be found. No wreckage or remains were ever located. Again, I think, no, they should just introduce aliens. They should just do it. They should do it. CitizenCon Direct should be about aliens. This is the perfect timing. Like every road, every crossroad is like intersecting at this point in time for aliens. Like what's happening in the Onyx facilities, what's happening in the day of the Vara. We're having to get into Squadron 42 in the next 12 months. Like that, of course, we'll have to have aliens. Oh, we're almost there. All right, anyways, moving on. Here we go. So the rewards, first place, the Sabre. Oh my gosh, there's actually a lot of this. In first place, the Sabre Firebird with Black Magic paint, the Gray Cat Rock with Harvester paint, and the Gray Cat armor set, the Harvester armor set. And of course, the StarCitizen game package. That's actually a really good first place. That's really cool. In second place, you're going to get the Morai Guardian with Black Magic livery. And in third place, you're going to get the Sabre with the Black Magic paint. Cool. That is really awesome. I would say congratulations to CIG. Continue pushing this kind of contest. It would even be cooler to incorporate some of these stories actually into the game. Like, I don't know, if the winner actually contributes to the lore, becomes part of the lore Bible, like that would be pretty awesome. So good luck there. Before we get into the StarCitizen monthly report, I'm going to step away for 2 seconds. Because we have a lot to read. I want to make sure I'm not coughing and making this podcast sound horrendous. So stand by. Okay, so we're going to get through this. All right. Let me share my screen for those of you watching on video. If you have been, let's do it. I'm trying to think of how to best do this. If you have been following show notes and following monthly reports and just in general status reports, roadmap updates, if it's omitted from this monthly report, that doesn't mean there hasn't been progress. It doesn't mean that it was delayed. Like the galaxy is not mentioned. That's not to say that we can't expect it in the next 3 months. There just wasn't any milestones reached for the galaxy. So as one example, so you're going to get to a section and it's going to talk about like specific ships that is not all inclusive of what we're expecting in the next couple of months. So just always take monthly reports with a grain of salt, right? Know where it's coming from, know what its intended audience is, and don't necessarily read too much into the omissions. So here we go. AI content. The AI content team continued to test updates to some of the landing zone NPCs, looping in the QA team to help stress test the setup to ensure it can take the strain of extensive use and trigger any potential issues. To make stations and cities feel more alive, the team leveraged the med station behavior used during the region crisis. Now shopkeepers will interact more with the people frequently their store. The team also looked at an underutilized aspect of landing zone archetypes and are preparing a proposal to make better use of guards. In addition to the ongoing task of setting up comms call characters for missions, the devs also started looking at mission providers in general and built a new behavior to support face-to-face interactions in the future. All right, the AI features team. AI features updated numerous features last month, beginning with AI weapon components, which will now remain in sync with weapon statuses, allowing them to work better in unison. Support was then added for NPCs to systematically target vehicles in combat. Improvements were made to the Rocketeer behavior, allowing NPCs to switch between using a rocket launcher and pistol depending on the situation. Adjustments to the visuals of various behaviors were made, improving cover usage and fixing multiple asserts. Default behaviors were then introduced to the Buddy AI, allowing NPCs to follow their leader and stay in close proximity during combat. TPS covers along path, that's a quote, was finalized based on feedback, while ammo looting updates are underway too. This will affect holstering and stowing primary weapons and prevent NPCs from switching to their pistols when looting if they still have primary weapon ammo. Formerly mentioned in previous monthly reports as an upcoming creature, the new Yormindy now uses different fire modes in its attacks. The new Yormindy. All right. Issues with the perception giving false positives were also fixed. Further improvements were currently underway for this and existing creatures. In addition, new functionality was added for testing first reactions by generating test cell level variants, making rapid iteration and testing easier for each situation. This includes testing for first reactions and animation flows. All right, AI tech team. September saw AI tech improve NPCs using elevators by simplifying the setup of the transit carriage. Focus is currently on 3D navigation and NPCs flying ships. The team continued to improve the flight path finder system and 3D collision avoidance using the newer voxel grid approach for custom environments. The focus is to unify the process flow with the one used for ground requests and preemptive adaptation of the Pathfinder structure. This will deal with the paths generated if a spatial voxel grid is present. This also includes the introduction of distinct parallel jobs for search and refinement, and how the flight path is constructed. Additionally, hard turns have been introduced alongside, allowing ships to get nose on target more quickly. Development was done on AI perception code, with the team fixing issues with knowledge escalation when seeing enemies between the primary and secondary fields of view. Direct perception was also introduced, which simulates knowledge at distance. For example, when NPCs communicate via comms. This enables systemic reactions to NPCs being killed while talking, even without direct line of sight. Improvements were then made to the way assignments are queued in relation to the usable builder tool. Crashes during general use were also fixed, such as when changing alignment slots and expanding the line pop-up edit for geom and helper geom editing. Updates were made to the AI sequence system, which manages AI agent scripting in the flow graph. This enforces the validation of action sequence and ensures the correct execution context is set in the systemic activities, providing a more reliable way to manually script agents and to guarantee actions are validated and executed correctly. The critical flow mode for AI agents was brushed up as well. While in this mode, action execution errors are still reported but can now be handled with specific fallback, allowing the flow to proceed instead of failing and potentially stalling. This is still in progress and will be further enhanced going forward. StarScript improvements are still being made as the team improve the tool following feedback from the devs. Finally, subsumption content data improvements were made to reduce errors going forward. AI Game Intelligence Development Team. In September, the Game Intelligence Development Team focused on completing the next milestone for Mission System 2.0. They're currently breaking down the work and discussing the best possible path to approach the implementation. They also continue to fix bugs and performance issues and worked on features suggested by the designers to improve StarScript. Animation. The animation team continued to work on upcoming creature and boss fight. Awesome. Alongside supporting a new mission giver. Facial animation progressed through new performances that were captured in late August. These include characters that will be present in multiple upcoming releases, including a returning air traffic control voice. The animation, narrative, and motion capture teams also planned for their next shoot, which will be held in the beginning of October. Art characters. The character art team finalized both new armors and a new gang. I think that has been in previous monthly reports as well. Work also continued on polishing the Yormandi. The concept art team continued iterating on new armors. So we will more than likely see the Yormandi in CitizenCon Direct. I highly suspect that. All right, here we go. Everybody's one subject that they go to when they see a monthly report. Here is the ships team. All right. In the UK, work continued to bring the RSI Aurora and Aegis Hammerhead up to modern standard. The Aurora progressed through the LODO, or level of detail 0, in final stages as improvements were made to the component bays, bed access, dashboard placement, entrance method, VTOL setup, and cargo access on the underside. For the Hammerhead, focus was on implementing the improvements made to the base corridor kit from the recent Idris release, alongside making sure the component bays and relays are suitably placed and accessible. So, updating 2 older ships. Okay. The Paladin progressed into the level of detail 0 phase, with final adjustments being made to the main quad turret to ensure its movement is unhindered in both flight and landed states. The downstream team kicks off their work on the ship as well. The MISC Hull B is now well into the white box phase. We're not seeing the Hull B anytime soon. If it's going into white box, it still needs to go to gray box. It still needs to go to the level of detail 0. Several other passes. It ain't happening. The majority of the interior was implemented to the required level, while adjustments are currently being made to the exterior mesh to meet the gate's requirements. Following last month's work, the Drake Ironclad and Ironclad Assault, plus the updated command module that'll go between the Ironclad and the Caterpillar, are approaching their combined white box gate review. Again, white box gate review means we're not seeing the Ironclad anytime soon. Maybe Invictus launch week next year, maybe. But the white box means we're nowhere near it. 4 unannounced vehicles also continued development through September. The first is approaching its level of detail 0 review, while the second progressed through the level of detail 0 gate and is now in its final stage. The third, a variant of a popular recent release, is receiving gray box and level of detail 0 work in tandem due to the nature of the changes. Guys, this could be as simple as like the Zeus MR, right? So you have like the Zeus, it has like the prison system in the back of it. Like it could very well be that, or it could be something completely different. It's just saying that a third of a popular recent release is coming out. The fourth passed its gray box review early in September, with the level of detail 0 work due early October. Some of the downstream teams began their tasks as well. So it can't be the like Perseus and it can't be the Galaxy because these are unannounced vehicles. So this is where like we know that we're going to get the Galaxy, or at least we are very confident that we're going to get the Galaxy. We're very confident we're going to get the Perseus, and those were not mentioned, right? So just be, the Perseus is mentioned down here, standby. But like the Galaxy, for instance. The North American teams began the month finalizing their fixes for the RSI Apollo ships ahead of their release. Various optimizations were also made following the player use in the PTU. Level of detail 0 for the RSI Perseus was also passed early on in the month, with the team moving on to the final touches downstream, and downstream teams beginning to close out the ship. Guys, we're going to see the Perseus next week. I really think either next week or IAE. I'm thinking next week. The white box phase officially kicked off for the Drake Kraken. Hell yeah. In the latter half of the month, last month's pre-production phase led to numerous improvements and adjustments to navigation, flow, and interactions throughout the ship. 2 unannounced vehicles progressed too. One moved through the gray box phase while the second entered white box. Cool. We usually skip over community. Core gameplay. Excuse me. All right, here we go. As part of ongoing medical gameplay improvements, the team provided support for bespoke take-in-place animations and reworked the implementation of players clearing their respawn point in vehicles. Bug fixes were implemented for the medical screen, along with improved validation to make it easier to spot errors. Tiered medical bed spawn ranges were re-implemented for more robust compatibility with server meshing. Additionally, new controls were exposed to the designers that allow them to control healing costs per medical bed tier, while additional data was exposed to the UI designers to add new information to the medical screens. For engineering, the team continued iterating on playtest feedback and hardening the feature ahead of wider scale testing. The vehicle command module feature continued through its pre-production phase, with the devs completing the prototype and technical design. Additional debug tooling revealed various issues with the underlying docking system, prompting an effort to fix critical flow issues. Guys, if docking the command module is anything like docking into a space station, that is going to be annoying. They need to. I like the realism. I kind of like the difficulty of docking. It shouldn't just be like a automated button click. But I think I think they need just a little bit more ease into docking into a space station. So if you're going to have this command module going back and forth between the Caterpillar and Ironclad, it needs to be a lot more seamless than taking, 30 seconds to a minute to dock. Just my 2 cents. All right, let's go to economy. The economy team began the month exploring how to make the player's impact on freelancing commodity trading more impactful and longer lasting. In the process, they adjusted offer and demand at some locations while tuning profits to fit the current level of the economy. The team then evaluated the data on the drop rates of some rare items and made them more prevalent. The cargo manifests found in spawn ships were also redesigned so their value doesn't undermine when the intended gameplay for certain missions. Mission design. Mission design began September, finalizing the last narrative mission for the ASD facilities before looking forward to the rest of the year's content. They also began removing old factions players. They also began removing old factions players will no longer work with and reorganizing the ones they will. That was a difficult sentence to get through. Alongside this, the team reviewed bounty missions and added comms notifications for the mission provider. This is part of the ongoing initiative to bring older missions up to standard. Bring back delivery missions. Please. There's not a lot to do. There's not a lot to do solo. Like if you're a solo gamer, yes, you can go and salvage, you can go and mine, like you can do the basic game loops. I don't know. I'm struggling with that because I guess everything that it's out has a solo mode. Like theoretically, you can solo the entire game. So I need to be careful with like how I come across that way. But like delivery missions, that is your cargo every day. You only have 30 minutes to play loop, and they got rid of it. I want it back. I want it back. All right. Mission design also worked alongside engineering to solve long-standing issues with spawn closets and made more fixes to the mission generation systems. All right, just a few more items. In September, the narrative team focused on tasks to help close out the rest of the year strongly. They focused on crafting scripts that will add additional dynamic conversations, a new Kovalex mission representative, vendors, and customers to the game, and spent time generating mission text and lore discoverables for several upcoming events. Narrative then worked alongside with the environment art and branding teams on the signage and environmental storytelling for several incoming levels. Time was also spent planning narrative initiatives for the next year. This was an excellent opportunity to learn from the recent releases and continue to strengthen the player's narrative experience across the game. Online technology. Last month, the Live Tools team updated the error reporting pipeline, including moving Panic migration from Heap to Laravel. The Panic web app tool can now configure stream settings, removing dev time by allowing users to define the configuration of each stream themselves. The symbolizer was also rewritten to be event-driven, making it more stable and scalable. Progress was made on a new web app to configure bootstrap settings. What are bootstrap settings? Which will provide a more accessible display for its users. For Hex, implementation began of the audit log UI that will extend the system's filtering and sorting capabilities. Concepting for Hex 4.0 continued as well. The online services team continued to work on item recovery and the blueprint service alongside continued bug fixing and support. R&D. In September, the R&D team's focus remained exclusively on analyzing performance and optimizing engine and game code. And VFX. For Alpha 4.3.2, VFX finished up their tasks for the ASD locations and final event work, while the RSI Apollo Triage and Medevac received their VFX passes. Production continued on the Yormidi and its related locations too. VFX passes also began for vehicles coming later in the year alongside pre-production for upcoming locations and missions starting in the next week or so. StarCitizen Monthly Report. Not everything's going to matter to you. And I think that's fine. There's so much information. And there's a lot of those tools that even I having been like really close to this for 3+ years now, there's still tools and there's still processes that I've never heard before, like Bootstrap or Hex. But it's reassuring as an investor, which I'm sorry, we can have this debate. I would gladly have this debate with you. Like, you're an investor at this point, right? When a ship comes out and you're spending money and you're buying subscriptions and you are purchasing patch packs and paints and everything else, like, you are an investor towards this project. Whether you spent $50 or $25,000, you are an investor. And so I think it is good for me personally to have invested to see all of the progress. Do I understand all the progress? Hell no. I'm not a developer. I don't work for CIG. Shocker. But I do think it's good to know that the project that we love and adore so much is almost there. And I say almost there. We could be 3-5 years out. Who knows? But we're almost there to a place, I think a good place, that when Squadron 42 launches, hopefully next year, you could have a viable product for StarCitizen. Maybe not 1.0, but it's going to become very popular when Squadron 42 comes out. Okay, here we go. I'm going to open up our emails first. Before we get to the comment section from last episode, let's get through some emails. And again, like, this first email was September 23rd, and the second email is September 24th. So I just want to be mindful. Again, I don't share my screen for these because it has email addresses and I don't want to dox anybody. But this first email is from Slum. Slum writes, "Hello, ready to come down from out of state and meet everyone in Austin and thankful for such an event. We'll have a booth and handing out goodies, but seriously, thank you guys for hosting. Sincerely, Slum." Can't wait to meet you, Slum. And that really goes for everybody who's going to be at the Austin Bar Citizen. Please, not Bar Citizen, CitizenCon Direct. Please come by and say hi. I can't wait to see you. Now, keep in mind, even in my org, I have never seen y'all before. You might have seen my podcast or YouTube. You might, see me sometimes in the Discord. I don't know what you look like. So if you come up to me and you're like, "Hey, I'm Slum," or "Hey, I'm Stillwicker," or "Hey, I'm Groza," like, at least I've seen Groza on the podcast a few times, but there's individuals that I've never seen before. So don't let that be weird for you. Come up, say hi, introduce yourself. I'll probably have a moment where I'm like, "Oh, roger that. I remember you." But I really cannot wait to meet y'all. Sincerely. Jeffin, my friend, Jeffin writes, "Hello, Sulyce. Hope all is well. I just want to say thank you for the incredible podcast. For the past year, I've been listening to Spotify as I drive to and from work every Friday and during road trips with my girlfriend. I love how you are always informative with a positive mindset, not always easy with StarCitizen, while being so open and welcoming. Keep up the outstanding work and never change. I look forward to flying with you in the verse and with Soul Provision." Jeffin was on our org night last night, and Jeffin was one of the ones that won. It's actually kind of a fun story. They won the Sinister 6-pack of the bear helmets. Everybody had rolled first, like 22 people rolled, and the highest was like 95. There was a tie for 95. Jeffin comes in, he's the last to roll, rolls a 96. So wins the pack. I was happy to give it to him. So, hey, thank you everybody for writing in. Again, I'll read your emails. Let's get into last week's comments from the Spotify. And I love how sometimes the internet just decides to slow down. Do it. There was one time I was doing this podcast and I had clicked on, like, I was already in the Spotify page. And then when I clicked it, like, something on the back end refreshed. and I had to like re-log in. I've got a 2-factor authentication. Like I had to pull out my phone. I had to do the code. So I'm over there like live, like trying to get back into the website. It's ridiculous. All right, let's go to the poll real quick. And this, I can share my screen. So here we go. I asked at the end of last week's episode, what's your favorite part of the new Onyx Facilities Hyperion mission? Is it story and ambience? Is it mission gameplay? Is it exploration and design? Or is it the PvP opportunities? And 66.7% said exploration and design. And then 33.3% said story and ambience. Now, I will say this is a very low engaging poll. So I'll probably change the tone or the type of polls that I ask moving forward. So, all right, to the comment section. See how slow my internet's going? What is happening? We're just gonna let this happen for a couple seconds. Do I hit refresh? Nope. All right, we're good. Goodness. I thought I had a lot more comments than just 6. Okay, we'll go with it. Oh, we just had a couple of replies. Maybe that's why. All right. So Down Bad PK wrote, I liked the Hyperion mission until the end. The end was very anticlimactic for me. I also don't like how many times you have to do it to get even just a single set of armor from Wicklow. It's like 15. Yeah, you're right. It's 15. And that's just for one set. Also, due to the way the rewards are distributed currently, if you are 3 people wanting the armor, then you have to complete it 45 times. Yeah. It always feels like at every step, CIG is pushing us away from group play. It's almost never worth it. Yeah, this is such a good point. And I actually agree with you. I think this is one of those moments that we can be critical of CIG and think, what the hell were you thinking? At the same time, if you take an org of 50 people and you share the mission across 50 individuals and you run through this mission, I mean, theoretically, that right there is one run would give, 3 armor sets. So I don't know. I don't know what the answer is. I know it doesn't feel good. I know it doesn't. But if you have a group of 5 or 10 people, you're only getting the one, set, right? Or you're only getting a single set of armor, right? If you do it 15 times, good Lord. Yeah. So I don't know, but that's in the past. I think CIG has done both. I think they have had missions before where it could be cheesed, right? Like there has been Overdrive Initiative and Xeno Threat things where you just share missions no matter where you were in process or progress. And somebody in Pyro completing a mission would count for you when you were in Microtech and over in Stanton. So I feel like they're dabbling. I feel like they're trying their best to figure something out and what that balance feels like. But I do want to just highlight that your comment is extremely valid. I've thought about this before, right? I have felt this. Moving on to Billy the Beast. I'm loving the new Hyperion mission. Although I don't think it's soloable, I've been doing it with a group of 4 and it's been a blast. I pretty much live in the Onyx facility. Shout out to you, bro, for doing these podcasts and bringing me joy while at work. I love you, dude. Love you as well. Thanks for the feedback. I'm glad to provide this for you. I've heard it's soloable. In fact, there's replies saying that it is. I just want to, I don't know. I don't know how it's soloable. Because that first puzzle where you're having to like repair the pipes and like mine the little like the ore, whatever it is that's blocking the pipes. I've never tried it solo, to be very fair. I just don't know how it would be. Because I remember we did it with a group of 4 or 5. And I remember one we fixed it. And while we were fixing another, it like re-broke. So I don't know. That seems like really difficult for me. All right, Akalesh. Akalesh writes, hey, Sulyce, love your show, and I listen to your podcast on Mondays at work. which makes my Monday blues go away. Amazing podcast, just with the right amount of criticism and positivity, which I need for a Monday morning. I have been away from StarCitizen for a few months now, and I love catching up with your help. Do what you do. It's amazing. I have been waiting. I've been wanting to get back into StarCitizen. I have missed out a lot and want to get myself a Polaris through Wicklow. Have fun. Take care. Hey, good luck on that Polaris, man, especially through Wicklow. I think that's why you're winking. I think it's why you're winking when you say that, but that is still very painful. It's still very felt among the ranks of Soul Provision. For those of you, this is your first time listening or whatever, like we did all the work, right? Shout out to Groza and everybody else. We did the work to get all of the items for Polaris. We recorded ourselves doing it. We recorded ourselves turning it in, and it glitched on us. No Polaris. And CIG was not willing to help us out. So, super painful. And what a horrible note to end the podcast on. Hey, I appreciate the feedback. I appreciate the note. Thank you so much. I'm glad I'm able to bring you joy on your Mondays. But guys, that's it. That's a wrap. Episode 123 is in the books. We have one more episode before CitizenCon Direct. Super stoked. Guys, get entered into the giveaway for the Sabre and the Black Magic paint. Give if your heart tells you to give to the children in need for extra life. It's beyondtheversehq.com/give, right? All the money, 100% pass through straight to the children in need. Do it. If you want to become part of the conversation, you can do so by, again, emailing us, contact@beyondtheversehq.com. Respond to our comments and our polls on the Spotify. You'll be read at the end of each episode. Go to our website, thebeyondtheversehq.com and soulprovision.com for all things that you want to know and interact and engage with in either the podcast or Soul Provision, our organization. I hope this finds everybody well as I die. I'm still dying. I've been dying this entire episode. I hope this finds you better than you're finding me. Safe travels as you traverse beyond the verse.